Barry Jenkins has such a distinct style, a very dreamy yet realistic feel, and I wanted to see some of his influences because at the end of the day, our style is influenced by what we consume, whether it's subconsciously or consciously done. One of my favorite things is watching filmmakers that I admire favorite films and see how they apply those techniques or themes in their own work. His list was quite expansive, but I picked six films at random that I've never seen and I'll be giving my opinions on what I think of these films. The films I picked were Killer of Sheep, the 1978 film by Charles Burnett, Blood Simple, the 1984 film by the Coen brothers, Woman Under the Influence, the 1974 film by John Cassavetes, Chungking Express, the 1994 film by Wong Kar-wai, Monsoon Wedding, the 2001 film by Mira Nair, and George Washington, the 2000 film by David Gordon Green. Killer of Sheep, the 1978 film by Charles Burnett, was wonderful. The intro scene was so good, it really pulled me into the world. The style reminds me a lot of A Man Escaped and The Bicycle Thieves. It has that sense of realism and this very authentic voice. I love the humor in this. Also, the soundtrack was so cool. I love the music. The cinematography was amazing. There are a few scenes that really stood out to me, and I want to talk a bit about them. The first one was a scene where the kids were jumping from building to building. I thought that shot was so sick. Also, the scene where the two men were carrying the contraption, and the camera is following them as they trudge along with this really heavy machinery, and they put it in the trunk of the van and drive off, and it falls. I thought that whole sequence was really cool. I definitely see similarities between Charles Burnett's work and Barry Jenkins' work, especially in the way that they portray Black people. There's a sense of intimacy and vulnerability, but it's also very real. It doesn't shy away from more serious topics. It feels very cohesive and very human. This movie was a student film and a debut film. It was actually the director's thesis film at UCLA, and he purposefully didn't put it out there because he didn't want to graduate, because there was nowhere else he could get access to equipment for that cheap. Also, the film has a budget of 10K. I definitely recommend watching this. It's really good, and I enjoyed it a lot. Blood Simple, the 1984 film by the Coen brothers, was a journey. I had a lot of fun watching this. It went in unexpected places. It plays like horror, even though it's like a crime thriller. The last 15 minutes especially felt very Final Girl battle horror-esque. There were so many cool shots in this film. One of my favorite was the shot of one of the characters' face in frame and the smoke rings blowing. Oh, so cool. A really funny tidbit I read on that actually was that Emmett Walsh couldn't blow smoke rings no matter how hard he tried. So they bought a smoke ring machine, but it didn't do like a good job making the smoke. So this girl from the prop department supposedly was like, I can do that, and she blew the smoke rings we see in the film. So shout out to her because those shots were really cool. The score was also really good. This was actually the Coen brothers' debut film, and it's amazing. You should definitely check it out. A Woman Under the Influence, the 1974 film by John Cassavetes, was quite different from what I expected, but like in a good way. The acting was phenomenal. Peter Falk and Jenna Rollins, they were so good, just so good. I really love the realism. I don't know what it is with me and realism, but I enjoy seeing films that are portrayed in this manner. I've never seen a movie that had a female protagonist quite like Mabel. It was very interesting to see. Apparently, this film was supposed to be a play, but that was scrapped because Jenna Rollins thought it was too intense to perform over and over. And I can definitely see that because at certain points, this film was kind of hard to watch. But overall, it was a really good film, and I definitely think you guys should check it out. Chungking Express, the 1994 film by Wong Kar-wai, was really cool. I enjoyed the humor in this film. I found the main characters for both segments slightly insufferable, but I still enjoyed it a lot. I really like the soundtrack and the use of slow-mo in this film. One of my favorite scenes was the one where the dad is like freaking out because the lady in the blonde wig took his daughter. Then we cut to the kid just chilling and eating ice cream all nonchalantly. I also like the scene where the guy was like, somehow everything comes with an expiry date. And the scene where Faye was holding up the magnifying glass and inspecting the strand of hair on the bed. It's just hilarious. I really like this movie, and yeah, definitely give it a watch. It's fun, it's emotional, it's really good. Monsoon Wedding, the 2001 film by Mira Nair, was really good. I enjoyed the different characters' storyline. Everyone felt interesting. Also, Rhea deserves the world. She's my favorite character. The performances in this film were so damn good. I especially love Nasiruddin Shah, who played the dad. His performance was phenomenal. Apparently, this film had a mix of veteran and first time actors, though I couldn't tell because it was so well acted. I wouldn't have known. So two scenes that I really loved were the rain scene. I felt like it was really emotional. Also really loved the way it was shot and the dancing scene, which was such a joy to watch. Overall, the film was fantastic and I recommend giving it a watch. George Washington, the 2000 film by David Gordon Green, went from wholesome to dark real quick. I do wish they kind of delved more into what happened and the effects it had on the family and so on, but instead it took a more surface level approach. There were some really good acting moments, but some of it also felt a bit amateurish. The scene where the uncle goes, "Your dog never really had a chance," was so good. Probably one of my favorite line deliveries ever. I also really like the "I wish" monologue. I did like how we saw the effect the trauma had on the kids, even though I wished it had been explored a bit more. The landscapes in this film just so gorgeous. It's beautiful. It was beautifully shot. It's a gorgeous film. It's also pretty interesting. I definitely recommend giving it a watch. If you've made it this far in the video, please leave a like and subscribe. Comment down below which director you want to see me do next. Also, if you've seen any of these movies, which one is your favorite? See you next video.